Okay, so in this video, we'll have another discussion about integrated marketing communications, but this time we have an article from lumenlearning.com. Okay, so again, integrated marketing communications is an approach to creating a unified and seamless brand experience for consumers across various channels. Okay, different channels, different marketing tools, and all with the same goal of creating awareness about the product and eventually having customers purchase or acquiring the product or service. Okay, because consumers can be reached on different platforms and not everyone is on the same platform or can be reached through the same channel. Okay, so for the introduction, it's an approach used by organizations to brand and coordinate their communication efforts. The American Association of Advertising Agencies defines IMC as a comprehensive plan that evaluates the strategic roles of a variety of communication disciplines and combines these disciplines or channels to provide clarity, consistency, and maximum communication impact. The primary idea behind an IMC strategy is to create seamless experience for consumers across different aspects of the marketing mix. The brand's core image and messaging are reinforced as each marketing communication channel works together as parts of a unified whole rather than in isolation. Okay. So essentially you maximize or optimize the benefits that you can get from a particular channel and then integrate it with the rest of the channels that you are using. Okay. The shift from fragmented to integrated marketing communications. So prior to the emergence of IMC during the 1990s, mass communications, the practice of relaying information to large segments of the population through television, radio, and other media dominated marketing. Okay, so back then that's the most popular type of advertisement, even to this day. But of course, a greater part is now on social media and being reached through online or digital marketing. So marketing was a one-way feed. Advertisers broadcasted their offerings and value propositions with little regard for the diverse needs, tastes, and values of consumers. So essentially, you're targeting almost everyone. There's no differentiation with, the gender, the age groups, or people from different locations. Okay. Often this one-size-fits-all approach was costly and uninformative, sometimes unrelatable as well, due to the lack of tools for measuring results in terms of sales. But as methods for collecting and analyzing consumer data through single-source technology, such as source scanners, improved, marketers were increasingly able to correlate promotional activities with consumer purchasing patterns. Okay, so with the advent of technology, it has become much easier to conduct research as well. So if you have your customers, you can do surveys, but of course, not everyone participates, but at least you get a portion of your consumer base to do the survey and provide you with information. Again, such as where you learned about the product, where did you hear about the company and their offers, so that you would know which of your advertising campaign has worked well for you. Okay. Companies also began to downsize their operations and expand marketing tasks within their organizations. Again, some companies, especially large companies, they would hire PR companies, but for small, medium, they'd rather do it themselves. Okay, maybe hire someone or create a small department, but they'd rather do it themselves. Advertising agencies were also expected to understand and provide all marketing functions, not just advertising, for their clients. Today, corporate marketing budgets are allocated toward trade promotions, consumer promotions, branding, public relations, and advertising. So the allocation of communication budgets away from mass media and traditional advertising has raised the importance of IMC For effective marketing. Now, marketing is viewed more as a two-way conversation between marketers and consumers. You need to hear the feedback of the consumers, of course, and then tailor your advertising promotions or campaigns towards the needs and wants of the consumers. This transition in the advertising and media industries can be summarized by the following market trends. So a shift from mass media advertising to multiple forms of communication, and of course, we've already discussed targeted marketing. You define your audience and then you create a specific, content or ad that would cater to their needs or something that they would be able to relate to, which would, create some sort of interaction or, relation between the business or the product and the customer. Okay. The growing popularity of more specialized media or niche media, which considers individualized patterns of consumption and increased segmentation of consumer taste and preferences. Okay. The move from a manufacturer-dominated market to a retailer-dominated, consumer-controlled market. The growing use of data-based marketing as opposed to general focus advertising and marketing. So, different age groups have different needs, and sometimes they could use products differently. It would also depend on their, particular usage of the product. All right. Older people tend to use smartphones for, the basic features, calling and sending messages, but the younger generation, of course, the working class would also utilize it for their work or job-related tasks. But for the youngsters, it would be more about, reaching out to their peers and being able to keep communication or stay in touch with others. Okay. Greater business accountability, particularly in advertising. So they are now going to, know which ones are actually working, and they're not going to assume that it's working just fine. Okay, just keep it. So this time they will be able to review the campaigns and know exactly which ones are working and which are not. Okay. Performance-based compensation within organizations. So this helps increase sales and benefits in companies. Okay. So in a way, we'd also, if you have different, sales team in a company, so you'd probably provide additional benefits for those people who are able to bring in customers and who are able to increase the sales or revenue of the company. Unlimited internet access and greater online availability of goods and services. And of course, the customers are also there, so need to balance it out or make a connection through that channel. A larger focus on developing marketing communication activities that produce value for target audiences while increasing benefits and reducing costs. Okay. Normally products are made and you want it to, be different from all the others from the competition by making it the best or of the best quality or making it the cheapest of all the options. But again, retaining the quality still. Okay. Tools of IMC. So IMC process generally begins with an integrated marketing communications plan that describes the different types of marketing, advertising, and sales tools that will be used during the campaigns. Okay, in the previous video, we've had this. Okay, these are largely promotional tools, which include everything from SEO, tactics, and banner advertisements to webinars and blogs. So in traditional marketing communication, we have newspapers, billboards, magazines, but currently they can still be used, right? Marketers must also decide on the appropriate combination of traditional and digital communications for their target audience to build a strong brand consumer relationship. Because let's face it, there are still people who cannot stay online as much as the younger generation, right? Regardless of the brand's promotional mix, it is important that marketers ensure their messaging is consistent and credible across all communication channels. Okay, same message, same tone, and then consistent stand on certain issues or maybe statements, commitments. Benefits of integrated marketing communication. So, with so many products and services to choose from, consumers are often overwhelmed by the vast numbers of advertisements flooding both online and offline communication channels. Marketing messages run the risk of being overlooked and ignored if they are not relevant to consumers' needs and wants. So, yan na nga. Huwag masyadong madalas, tapos ensure na yung content ay may kabuluhan. Okay? One of the major benefits of IMC is that marketers can clearly and effectively communicate their brand story and messaging across several communication channels to create brand awareness. But let's face it, some customers, they don't care about your story, they don't care about your history. I just want the product, okay? IMC is also more cost-effective than mass media since consumers are likely to interact with brands across various forums and digital interfaces. As consumers spend more time on computers and mobile services, marketers seek to weave together multiple exposures to their brands using different touchpoints. Okay? Companies can then view the performance of their communication tactics as a whole instead of as a fragmented pieces. Okay? Kumbaga makikita mo yung consistency or probably the company brand, company logo on their advertisements on various channels. Okay? Kumbaga hindi naman masyadong naiiba. Siguro merong konting differences to cater to the particular platform. Pero with regards to content, same message. Diba? The other benefit of IMC, it creates a competitive advantage for companies looking to boost their sales and profits, especially useful for SMEs, small and medium-sized firms with limited staff and marketing budgets. IMC immerses customers in communications and helps them move through the various stages of the buying process. Okay? Nag-i-inquire, magkano po ito sa nakakabili, ganyan. So if you're responsive to the customers, then you can turn them into paying customers. Okay? Minsan, may instances lang din naman na ilan na kapag nag-inquire ka about a certain product to a certain company page or, social media account, mga hindi nagre-reply, di ba? The organization simultaneously consolidates its image, develops a dialogue, and nurtures its relationship with customers throughout the exchange. IMC can be instrumental in creating a seamless purchasing experience that spurs customers to become loyal, lifelong customers. Okay, normally kapag good naman yung experience, then they could, retain them or the customer would be willing to patronize the product or service. Okay, the communication process. Organizations must keep in mind the internal and external factors that influence audience perception during the communications process. Okay, a basic form of communication process in which two or more persons attempt to consciously or unconsciously influence each other through the use of symbols or words to satisfy their respective needs. Okay. On the part of the business, of course, they want the customer to know what their product is, what are its features, what are the benefits, what can it do for them, what problems it can solve for the customers, what's the pricing, of course, where can you buy it, and what can you expect for after-sales service, right? And on the part of the customers, of course, they also want to communicate with the business, like, these are the things that I like about the product. These are the things that I don't like. These are the things that, you could probably think about to improve on the product. Maybe you can lower the price, or I think this product is worth more. Okay, things like that. So communication process, it's a two-way process. IMC uses this communication process to persuade target audience to listen and act on marketing messages. Our ability to receive, communicate, and process information from other communicators and outside stimuli enable us to perceive the advertising and promotional messages central to IMC. Okay? Audience roles. People play different roles. It could be a friend, a parent, boss, client, customer, or an employee. So depending on the exchange during the communication process, diba? I myself ought to be a teacher, a writer, what else? A child, a student, a friend, a client, a customer. Okay. So you have different roles, okay, depending on who the other person is. The nature of the role directly affects the nature of communication. Communication theory points to the fact that each communicator is composed of a series of subsystems. The input subsystem permits the communicator to receive messages and stimulus from external sources, as well as from other communicators. I can't deny that there are people who are good listeners, and then there are people who just can't seem to receive messages well. They're easily offended and, they can't accept certain facts. It involves the reception of light, temperature, touch, sound, and others via our immediate senses. These stimuli are evaluated and recognized using our eyes, ears, skin, nose, and taste bud senses. Thus, we input and perceive advertising messages, a television commercial, or a salesperson's pitch using this process of perception. Diba yung makita mo pa lang yung pagkain sa TV, nagugutom ka na. Okay. Or makita mo pa lang yung, perfume maybe, or any other product on the TV. Parang ni-imagine mo what it would be like, what it would smell like, taste like, feel like, ganyan. Okay. Thus, organizations must keep in mind the different subsystems of their target audiences when devising IMC strategies. Companies must also consider other customer stimuli such as past experiences, education, health, genetics when developing communications for certain target markets. Okay? Baka mamaya English na English yung content ng advertising, pero hello, Pinoy po tayo. Okay, karamihan sa atin, of course, we speak Tagalog, we speak Taglish. Okay, so some of us could also speak in full English. Some people may process the humor in a company advertisement more quickly than others due to factors such as age or culture. Okay, there are, let's say a particular post, some people would get offended, and then there are other people who would think that, it's okay, I can see the humor in that, and then there are those people who would just be laughing at it, okay? So it would depend on, again, the age, the culture, the upbringing, the beliefs, ganyan, okay? So sometimes it could be a hit, sometimes it could be a miss, okay? Communication systems also exist within an environment such as a corporate office or school. The environment is everything internal and external to the communication system that can affect the system. Okay, you have your family, school, competing advertisements, and so on. Each of the factors within the environment interacts with the communication system to a different degree. Okay, as a result, where and when consumers interact with company advertisements and promotional tools will also affect their perception of the brand. A consumer perception of communication, a key component of success or failure, yung consumer perception. So organizations must strive to align communications into clear, concise, and customer-oriented messages. Okay. So IMC, marketing has evolved significantly, particularly in recent technology-driven social media economy. And as a marketer in the globally connected economy, integrating marketing communications and branding strategies to deliver a consistent, clear, and concise message to prospective customers is more important than ever. Okay, and the availability of most businesses online is has encouraged international trade na din, even at the individual level. Dati kasi when there are international exchanges, B2B, normally, business to business. But now, because of, retail platforms like Shopee, Lazada, meron mga like here in the Philippines, you can find sellers na they're from other countries pa pala. So, in a way, that supports international trade even on the micro level. Okay. Integrated marketing communications pursues this, expanding upon traditional marketing strategies to incorporate broader storytelling across a wider variety and consistently expanding series of communication channels between the organizations and its various stakeholders. Okay, dati face-to-face lang, ngayon meron ng email, meron ng social media, ganyan. From a technical view, this is all about identifying and aligning the vast array of tools in a marketer's kit. Because you have your advertising, blogs, social media, PR, direct selling. However, another key piece to this puzzle is how the consumer feels about the organization and how receptive they are to the values and operations of the company. So, kaya merong public relations din. Some businesses, they try not to be just about the profit, about the sales. They try to contribute or give back to the community by providing these different programs that what they call it, benefits the community or helps improve the environmental situation or helps protect or advocate a certain belief. Okay. Sometimes they also, give out statements on where they stand with regards to social issues. Okay, they try not to get too political because they're under governance or supervisory of the government agencies, but still, okay. Next, we have consumer perceptions. Marketing faces a number of challenges in the modern world, mostly revolving around trust and blindness and the assumption by consumers that businesses are just trying to sell them something, which is technically true naman. Consumers are apt to naturally dismiss acts as biased, which traditionally they often were and are. This is one of the great mistakes of marketing that integrated and iterative communication seeks to solve. Okay? Diba yung perception from before na normally when you advertise something medyo exaggerated, magandang tingnan sa TV, sa commercial, pero yung actual, kapag pinili mo, bakit ibang hitsura, diba? So, merong mga perceptions na those advertisements are lying or they're just saying all the good things the product is going to give you, pero yung mga, problems or issues na may encounter mo, hindi nila binibigay, diba? So, yun. So, merong, in a way, negative perception ang mga tao with regards to advertisements. Okay? And although, sometimes may ginagawang maganda yung isang company, ang iniisip agad ng tao, pakulo na naman, ano kayang gusto nitong gawin? Baka meron namang i-release na bagong product or something and they want to support of the community, kaya lang may ginagawang project or something, di ba? If you notice, I'm not sure, what do you call this? There are certain apps or businesses na nagsasabi they would, give a certain portion of, for every purchase that you make, a certain portion of it would be given to a certain program that they are having, like let's say feeding programs or back to school programs or yung Christmas gift giving. Kapag bumili ka ng bear, one would be yours and the other would be given to orphanages or communities or something. Or kapag bumili ka ng pagkain from a particular restaurant, they would be providing feeding programs to certain communities. Or kapag bumili ka sa bookstores ng what do you call this? Supplies. Diba meron silang in-introduce na pwede nyo po itong bilhin for only, let's say, 5 pesos or 10 pesos and then we will give this to children for the upcoming opening of school classes. Okay, may mga ganong project pero, some people would see it as good but then others could see it as something bad. Like, why can't you just do it without, waiting for the sale of this particular product? Okay, something like that. So, the outside-in approach through integrating communication strategies and listening carefully to consumer values and perspectives, organizations can evolve to fit their markets and provide users with a type of communication, products, services, and values that are being demanded. Okay? What is wanted by the consumers. This is not about creating ad materials, at least not at first. At this stage, the organization must actively listen to the needs, wants, opinions, beliefs, and perceptions of their core communities, the stakeholders. and strive to become what it is that these stakeholders expect them to be. This is an iterative process that could change over time, and consumers can, demand something else in the future, where consumer perceptions are constantly being measured and built back into the organizations, operations, products, services, and values. Okay. So from the very beginning, you have to have that relationship with your consumers that, communication is two-way, you feedback, you listen to them as well. Kasi normally if you don't and, the consumers see that, ano ba yan, ito pa rin yung product nila, wala man lang improvements over the years, no matter how much, we try to give out our opinions, ganito pa din, it's going to be, disappointing, and it's going to turn off some customers or, a portion of your customer base. Okay, so you have to actually listen and communicate that to them, right? Inside-out approach naman, generally speaking, this approach is inferior to the outside-in approach for the simple reason that outside-in is intrinsically consumer-oriented. The inside-out approach, however, is used by firms with strong values to which they are deeply committed. So normally for, large companies that have already been established for years and they have already created a brand, okay? They already have their core values that they are committed to. This approach focuses on identifying and communicating one single, clear, and perfectly unified message and displaying that as an integral brand all consumers encounter. It works best when it is honest, clear, and aligned with the opinions and values of consumers. Okay. Cross-functional strategic approach. As IMC continues to evolve, the most common perspective has become the cross-functional strategic approach to consumer perception. In this approach, organizations focus on building a customer-centric organization where all that matters is creating touch points and engagement with prospective users. In this model, the entire organization is often restructured to build interconnected and agile channels between the firm and the consumers. Two-way communication and constant iteration is the central dynamic of this model. Okay, so kumbaga engagement with focus on engagement with the user. Sometimes no matter your product or service, you can create an engagement. Guys, let's say through social media, pwede kayo magpa-activity kasi nga, di ba, hindi naman siya about selling lang palagi. You can have your, let's say, giveaways, you can have your contest, let's say, pinakamagandang slogan or how you're going to sell a certain product on your own. What do you like best about this particular product? Okay, you can have those questions answered by your customers and make it fun and engaging by creating contests, maybe giving out something to the participants or to the winners, okay? So there could be different approaches to this, right? Next, we have loyalty. Ultimate objective in identifying and building consumer perceptions into integrated marketing strategy is engagement and loyalty. This means that consumers will identify positively with the brand and prefer to buy habitually from the organization as opposed to competition. Okay, kumbaga meron kayong loyalty na. Regardless of the price, basta dito ako sa company na to. Okay, kahit meron pa dyan cheaper options, dito pa rin ako. Although may mas maganda dyan na brand, may additional improvements, dito pa rin ako. For some reason. Okay, and that's loyalty. This is accomplished through truly integrating a customer-centric strategy. So, for example, every time na may encounter akong problems, palaging mabilis mag-reply, mabilis i-resolve yung problems, diba, kapag may mga issues. I think that's one of the reasons why I stay with a company. Kasi naman dun sa others na, diba, maganda nga yung product mo, pero palpak naman ang customer service. Never mind na lang. Okay? So yeah, so you have here a graph, this one, relative attitude, low and high. And then you have your repeat patronage, high and low. Kapag ang relative attitude is low, ang repeat patronage, high and spurious loyalty. Wait, what? Relative attitude is low, tapos low din ang repeat patronage. Okay, so no loyalty. Kapag ang attitude ay high, ang repeat patronage ay high din, so there is loyalty. Kapag ang relative attitude is high, pero ang repeat patronage is low, so latent loyalty. Hindi mo maintindihan kung loyal ba siya or hindi. Okay? IDA model, approach used by advertisers to describe the different phases of consumer engagement with an advertisement. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin ng IDA? Attention, interest, desire, and action. Okay. Acronym used in marketing and advertising, which helps marketing managers develop effective communication strategies and communicate with the customers in a way that better responds to their needs and desires. So IDA describes a common list of events that occur when a consumer views an advertisement. So, each letter in the acronym stands for the following. So, yan. Unang makita mo yung advertisement, kaunahan, attention or awareness. Nagkaroon ka ng awareness na, ay, may bago palang product or may bago palang company and ito yung in-offer nila. Okay? The ability to attract the attention of consumers. Tapos yung letter I, interest. Normally, kapag often mo yung nakikita yung advertisement, napapadalas, di ba, repetitive, nagkakaroon ka na ng konting curiosity or interest dun sa product and, it points to the ability to raise the interest of consumers by focusing on and demonstrating advantages and benefits, okay? Instead of focusing on features as in traditional advertisement or advertising. Normally in features, okay? Appearance, components, ganyan. Pero nowadays, products and services are mostly sought for their benefits that they can provide to the consumer. So, advantages and benefits ang nagiging main focus these days. D represents desire. So, after yung initial curiosity or interest, later on, di ba, pag na-communicate na maayos yung benefits and advantages of using the product or service, nagkakaroon na ng desire, nagkakaroon na ng want yung tao na i-purchase yung product or service. Okay? Because it will satisfy their needs. Tapos yung A is the action, the actual sale. Ayan, nagkaroon na ng benta. Alright? The system is used to guide marketers to target a market effectively. Naturally, as organizations move through each step of the IDA model, a percentage of initial prospects are lost through the sales cycle. So, hindi naman lahat na nakakita ng ads ay nag-i-end up being actual customers. Meron talagang others na it's either they don't need a product or they just don't want it or they already have someone or some other product that they are using. Okay? Car advertisements are prime examples of results stemming from the use of IDA model to narrow the target market. Marketers in the automotive industry know their advertisements must grab the attention of consumers, so they use colors, backgrounds, and themes that would appeal to them. Next, automotive marketers pique interest by showing the advantages of owning the car. In the case of the Mini Cooper, for instance, marketers imply that a small car can get the consumer to open spaces and to have fun. Okay? Third, automotive marketers find what their consumers desire. For Mini Cooper drivers, it's the fun of driving, while for Prius consumers, it may be the fuel economy or the environmentally friendliness. Only after evaluating consumer desires are marketers able to create effective campaigns. Lastly, marketers encourage consumers to take action by purchasing the product or service. Okay? Recently, there's this one post, I think on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken, na ad siya ng automotive company, car, SUV I think. Tapos, parang siyang billboard. And then, dun sa baba, merong naka-note na, I don't know, something like, their marketers made a typo or something. Pero hindi siya noticeable. So, yung mga tao, tinitingnan yung pinakang face ng ad and hinahanap, asan yung typo? Bakit hindi ko makita? And there are a lot of people who weren't able to see the typo. Pero, yun nga, ang ano lang naman, ang naging typo lang is, yung first line niya nagtapos sa off. Tapos yung second line niya nag-start din sa off. Okay, pero pag binasa mo siya, hindi mo napansin na doble pala yung word na off. Okay, pero yun nga, it's a good marketing strategy in such that maraming tao ang makakakita ng ad kasi they would be curious, asan yung typo? Okay, although not all of them would probably be interested in buying the car, but still, it would be, it was the talk of town kasi nga maraming tao ang nakakita ng ad. It's, a lot of people recognize it as a good marketing strategy. Okay? Na, di ba, sinishare, di ba? Kasi kapag hindi mo nakita yung typo error, isha-share mo or itatag mo yung friends mo, pakihanap ng typo. Kita mo ba yung typo? Meron ba talagang typo? Ganon. So, it was something good. Okay? History of AIDA model. American advertising and sales pioneer Elias St. Elmo Lewis is largely credited for developing the AIDA model. In one of his publications on advertising, he identified at least 3 principles that should be present in an advertisement. So, yung una, mission of advertisement is to attract a reader so that he will look at the advertisement and start to read it. Secondly, must then interest him so that he will continue to read it. And then finally, must convince him so that when he reads it, he will believe it. Okay? Lewis believed that if an advertisement contained these 3 qualities, then it was an effective advertisement. Right? And then lastly, we have improvements to the AIDA model. New phases such as satisfaction, di ba, after sales. And then confidence, kapag actual nang nagamit ng customer yung product, they would be satisfied and think that it's worth the price. Okay? Have been added to the original AIDA model. These later models acknowledge the need to satisfy the customer so as to encourage repeat purchases and generate product referrals and of course loyalty. Other modifications include the model's reduction to the 3 steps known as the CAB model. The steps include cognition, awareness or learning, affect, feeling, interest or desire, and then behavior, the action. Later developments also introduced more flexible uses of the AIDA model, such as the reordering of steps for different consumer-to-product relationships. Additionally, as experts have examined the AIDA model, more defined practices and theories have been developed. These practices include the TIREA scale, which focuses on breaking down the decision-making process into more defined components. Yung TIREA, thought, interest or desire, risk or evaluation, and then you have engagement and action. Okay. So that's it for this one. Another, discussion of the IMC. Alright, so that's it. Thanks and bye.